All right, welcome back. This presentation kind of goes off on a bird walk to talk about accountability systems in early childhood education. So we talked about program types. We talked about everything from center-based care to homeschooling to foster care, home visiting programs, private school, public school, the whole gamut. But this classroom assessment scoring system is used in a variety of settings as a measure of accountability. I'm trained to use the class in infant toddler programs, preschool programs, and kindergarten through grade 3 programs. And this tool was developed to assess child to caregiver interactions. And the interactions that teachers have with children do impact their learning and development, even lifelong achievement. And this tool was developed infant care through 12th grade. And again, it's accountability and professional development tool for teachers and caregivers. It came from the University of Virginia's Curry School of Education in the 1990s, but it really didn't come to be something really readily used until the early 2000s. And researchers found that interactions impacted child outcomes and interactions could be objectively measured. And it was adopted by the Federal Office of Head Start as a way to measure and improve child outcomes. So Head Start was like, hey, there's this tool, and we already know that the teachers that we hire impact developmental outcomes for children. So we should probably have a way to really measure that and analyze the data and provide professional development to support these teachers. And so here's what this tool is broken down into. This is the pre-K version of this tool. There are 3 domains with 15 with some dimensions. Emotional support is a domain, and the dimensions of emotional support are positive climate, negative climate, teacher sensitivity and regard for student perspectives. And then another domain is classroom organization, and the dimensions of classroom organization is behavior management, productivity, and instructional learning formats. And then instructional support looks at cognitive development, quality of feedback, language modeling, and a literacy focus. Throughout the field, those working in pre-K programs for children age 3 till 5 do really well with their emotional support and classroom organization. Emotional support tends to be the strongest domain for folks working with children 3 to 5 years old, and instructional support historically has been the lowest area of achievement. We're really great at nurturing young children, but we're not always great at supporting their higher level thinking. So when we look at the domain of emotional support, let's look specifically at positive climate. So here's what that looks like. In a classroom that has a highly supportive, positive climate, they would have good relationships between the caregiver and the children. The teacher would have a positive affect. And if you've never heard that said that way, that means, it doesn't mean that the teacher is always cheery. It means that the teacher is observably well in a good mood, really, like is happy to be there, matches affect with children who are excited, and is genuinely caring. And then for positive communication, the teacher and the children engage in open, positive communication, and that the communication is respectful. And so here's what those things look like. Relationships might look like physical proximity, shared activities, peer assistant, matched affect, and social conversations. And then for positive affect, that means smiling, laughing, and having general enthusiasm for what's going on. And then positive communication is verbal affection, physical affection, and positive expectations. And then respect might be eye contact. That's cultural, so it could be that there's eye contact or respect for one's eye contact. A warm, calm voice, respectful language, and cooperation and or sharing on the teacher's part. And so this tool is used to provide professional development to a teacher or a team of teachers, right? So as an observer, I go into a classroom and I observe the teacher working with the children for 20 minutes. And then I stop and I take 10 minutes and I assess my notes that I took to give a score to each of these areas. And then I stop my scoring after 10 minutes and I observe for another 20. And I complete that cycle 4 to 6 times. And so it could be anywhere from an hour to 2 hours of observing and scoring. And then I develop a little, my gosh, you guys, I'm losing my words today, a report for the teachers that goes over their strengths and their areas for growth based on what the tool has said. And so I'll give an example from when I was a teacher. So I was still a classroom teacher in 2004 when this tool was first being used. 2004, wow, I feel so old sometimes. When this tool first was being used. And so between the years of 2004 and 2008, I had a mentor who would come and she would observe me in the classroom. And I remember one time she said, if I go back a couple slides here, she was specifically concerned about my regard for student perspectives under emotional support. She had observed one day a circle time, and she pointed out to me, I was a new teacher, mind you. I had been teaching since just the very beginning of 2000. And she had said to me, wow, your circle time is very teacher directed. Is there a way that you can incorporate more opportunities for the children to lead parts of circle time? And it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's such a simple thing to do. Why didn't I think of that? And so then there were other times that she would come observe and we would have a chat about productivity. She said to me, you know, I noticed that you were preparing your small group lesson while the children were waiting for you at the table. Could you prepare that the day before so they're not waiting for you? And so that type of feedback is what teachers get. Like, how could you just improve your practice? And that's the whole purpose of the classroom assessment scoring system. And we'll pause there.